Hey, Shell, sometimes we just have to hit record and go for it, right?
Sure.
Here we are.
Sounds good. Crazy week for both of us, I think.
Yes,
but
let's not
we are still
not
here.
rehash that. Worst.
Let's not rehash
ever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like that. That's good. That's good.
It's a good thing to do, right? So we both had kind of a crazy week-ish, weekend and week, and it was just the holidays and everything. So we're back in our studios working hard like we usually do and meeting up to do another Real Talk Tuesday. The topic I thought we would just talk briefly about, which is the current industry trends.
Which I love that. I love that you brought it up because as soon as you said, hey, let's talk about trends in the industry, I'm like, shoot,
yeah,
that's a good idea.
I have some that I've recently read about and heard about, but and some that are obvious that have been going on for a while now. But that's really important, right? Because that's what's going to book us.
That's what people want to hear.
And hopefully if you have, again, I don't really coach much, but if you have a coach that's up, with the most recent things, they'll be able to share that information and kind of direct you in a way like, hey, this is what's currently booking right now, and they'll be able to help you adjust your read accordingly. I always go back to the trusting my instincts and letting the words of the script inform me of how it should sound and not try to be like, I'm going to try to be like blah, blah, blah,
right.
But I'm notorious for not forgetting the specs, but kind of forgetting the specs.
Right, because you just go into Michelle. You just go into Michelle mode.
A rogue. Well, don't go by me. I'm a little rogue.
And at the same time, that's you. That's what you bring to the industry, right?
On the Fonzie factor, I think I've said that to you before, which is that when they were casting for Arthur Fonzarelli in Happy Days, if you're old enough to know what that show is, they wanted a big Italian guy. And Henry Winkler, who played Fonzie, is this tiny little short. I mean, he's miniature. He's really short and he's Jewish and he's nothing they could ever have thought they wanted for Fonzie. And then he obviously booked that role, played it for many years and I can't even imagine anyone other than him playing Fonzie, right? So I say that as just a lesson in sometimes they think they want something, but your job is also to come there and show them who you are, and then the right kinds of jobs will come to you. I definitely am a proponent of bringing you to it and not just paying attention to what they think they want, if you will. And sometimes that's helpful if you can do 2 reads and stuff, but
right, to show them your diversity and the talent that you have, but at the same time, if they're looking for something totally different, it's nothing on you. It's just
just not a good match. One of the trends has been going for a while now, which makes sense and it's needed, is more diversity in in casting, more voices of color, more voices that kind of sound worldly, a little maybe a little accent, a little international, voice LBG, I can never say this, LGBTQ plus voices, which I hate to say this, but I don't know what to, obviously that's not me, but I have a lower range voice. Could I don't even know. I'm sure that I think they want actual people who represent that population, which I totally get. But I'm always what does that sound like? I guess I have heard a voice that sounds like you're not sure what gender it is.
Right.
I guess now that I think about it, so that's
a gender neutral
as well. Yeah. But the most recent trend that I've literally in the last week heard is they want the audition to sound like you literally jumped off the train and you are interviewing somebody that's not a voiceover. They want it to be keep in the mistakes and don't take out any breaths and be as kind of imperfect and messy as you can. Almost even if you pronounce a word a little wrong, they said they like that.
I do that all the time.
You're I
might be in luck.
I'm going to be booking a lot because right.
The time is now.
I thought that, it's that. They really want it to be, and I know that's overdone, the word. They don't want it to sound
professional and polished.
Yeah.
And so what does that mean with, you spend so much time trying to get the right sound and your room has no ambient noise and it's all just perfection.
Right.
How do
And now they want
you
you to sound like you came off the train.
I mean, I could carry my phone with me, right? Carry my phone and do an audition like this as the kids are running around.
I mean,
I don't know.
and that's I've read
Probably not.
that and I've seen that on a couple things lately, so it seems like it's a trend, but like at the end of the day, not every end client or agent or whatever is going to want that, right? So again, it's like you got to take it's like nutrition advice, right?
Oh, yeah.
Vegan, no vegan, keto, you got to like
This is what
take it
you
with a
need to
grain of
do.
salt.
This
Yeah.
is what you have to do to
Yeah.
lose this many pounds. Like, well, no,
Yeah.
everybody's body's different.
You can find anything that will support your cause one way or the other on the internet, right? So I say this newer trend as, with a grain of salt, just take it lightly, like just
Being
don't
aware of it.
overthink it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And don't over edit your track. Maybe leave in a little bit more of like your breathing and some things that make it more real and imperfect. And maybe that would be, just kind of keeping that in the back of your mind. What do you think?
Yes, I would definitely. And I think that's why you do so well, is because you are automatically like that. You do kind of leave those natural pauses, because when you read something, it comes from your heart and it's actual the way you say
I
it.
do. I would agree that I bring my imperfection to the table, but I would not agree that I feel like I over edit, and I don't really even know. I've gotten that feedback, not from end clients, but just from like other people and like coach people. And so I don't know what to take that with, right? But like, I don't know. I feel like I take out too much of like the breaths I make silent, and, I've read that that's not good and stuff like, so I think I over edit, and I don't even know who to show someone that and say like, hey, what could I do differently here?
Right.
What do you do? Do you silence every breath in between,
I
like when you're
used
giving a final to somebody?
I used to, and I know I've read a lot of things where people are like, don't like leave them in, or please take them out. We don't want them. Again, it depends on the client. But I think what I do is I leave all the breaths that don't add to the script, that don't have anything to do with it. But if I'm talking and then maybe I'm thinking, and then maybe I'll leave those little pauses, breaths in there. But I'll go in and they're not going to be as loud.
Like lower
Just
the volume.
Lower the volume a little bit, so they're not so pronounced. But there are times when I just leave them in there if it's connecting.
I don't know if I have a breathing issue, because I feel like mine sounds so like, I'll be like, da 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 da. Like, I feel like it's so like distracting when I could show some to you and be like, because I'm like, I feel like, how do I leave this in? It sounds like I'm going to like die. I don't know if that's a good thing.
You know what? What's hard is you just don't know what the end client wants. And I guess you could always just say, hey, do you want the breaths or not?
Well, right. And I do that with different clients. Like some clients, that's for sure. But I'm talking about more like when you submit an audition.
I see.
How careful are you with taking those out and making it pristine? Like I always made it too pristine, almost too pristine. Again, I'm like a contradiction, because I'm very much showing my imperfections, showing all that. But at the same time, I make my track really clean.
What if you didn't?
I don't know.
What if you didn't for a while? Just leave them all in for the next 2 months and see if.
I'll be booking like crazy.
As you leave in all the. How about you should overpronounce them?
I'll send you.
You should overpronounce them.
It's
like, oh my gosh, is she dying?
What is wrong with? I know. I'm like, what is wrong with me?
Can we still book her? Is she still around?
No.
She left her breaths in, and it ended her career.
It hurts my ear, so I'm like, this has got to hurt other people's ear. But I don't know. I'm going to ask around. But
kind of like,
but that is a trend. So maybe you're right. Maybe I should start just like leaving that in, see what happens. Throw some spaghetti at the wall, see what happens. Because I don't know. But the Fonzie factor, it's a thing. Which just means, again, bring
yourself.
He wasn't Italian and big and like cool or
wasn't
anything.
what the script said. He was just
wasn't
who
what
he
the
was.
Script said. And they wanted him because he's awesome, and he was Fonzie. And maybe you are exactly what they want, and they won't know that, because if you don't bring yourself to it, they'll never know that. So those are some trends I've recently read about. This new one of like totally
just
like
leaving everything in. Yeah. I think vocal fry, wasn't that like kind of a thing for a while? I feel like it's a little bit more on the out.
I know. I feel like and that's funny because I feel like that goes in and out. Having said that, I've always had vocal fry.
I know. It's
like,
that's how my voice sounds.
That's I don't call it that. I call it like gravel or texture.
Okay, yeah.
But I don't think it's like Kardashian vocal fry. It's not like, hey.
Right. And I'm uptucking and
Chloe.
trying to add vocal fry to everything.
It's not Valley Girl kind of thing. It's just and it's, and I guess I have read different trends that the people don't want that, but I will say most of the work I book, especially internationally, that's the thing they comment on the most. We loved the gravel in your voice. We loved the texture in your voice.
Oh, I like that.
We loved, that's what
I think there's a difference though
for.
between texture and vocal fry too.
Yeah. On the very few times, there's only been a handful of times I can remember in my career so far where I've been told, like, can you do less of that? And I'm like, and it makes me go out of being connected to the script because I'm trying so hard to sound like I don't have any vocal fry. And then I sound like disconnected.
Yeah. Almost like an AI. There's no texture there. Do they always go back though and say, you know what? We like the first takes better.
Sometimes. But it's really hard. It's like, I've also gotten this recently. I work a lot internationally, like I've said, but there's been like 2 times recently where they asked me to sound less American. And I'm like,
okay, I've had that too.
What do I do with that?
I don't know how to sound less American.
I don't know what does that mean? Like, he said it's just, I had a whole thing I recorded and they were like, it's just in these like 3 parts where it's like, it just sounds too, like if you could just record those 3 sentences.
Do you remember what kind of words were in those sentences?
No, but I'm like, I mean, I can't remember, but like, okay, what does that mean? Like, I don't know. I know certain words are like, I know in America, we say innovative and in international, they always say innovative, but that wasn't it. It was something else that was like, there was something else that was like, apparently the way I said it sounded very American. So do you remember what yours was?
I think sometimes it's a bit hard. I get that a lot. I also market myself as American female voiceover. Just because I've gotten so many things where like, can you sound less American? It's like, well, I can try, but I mean, that's kind of.
Can you sound more orange?
Thing.
Absolutely. Whatever you need. I can do whatever you need.
I can. Like, perfect.
All right.
Awesome. That was great.
Oh, I know one. Water. So in American, we say water. And they don't want WADDER. They want water. But if I say water, it's going to sound ridiculous.
It sounds like I'm pronunciating everything.
Right. The clean water. It's going to sound ridiculous.
I mean, I wouldn't say ridiculous.
It does. No, I tried it. It sounded ridiculous. It's water. Let's just go.
Water.
It's water. It's water. Water. DDER.
Water.
And on that note.
Or water. Some people say water.
It's not water. Water. I mean, anyway. So that was definitely one of the words. So anyway.
Yeah.
Those are the trends I've been seeing. And but again.
And the whole conversational tone, right? That's just, do you feel like that's leaning more into when people say I want conversational, do you think that maybe they're just saying that, but they're putting more emphasis on just leave the breaths in? Like conversational meaning leave all the breaths in.
Leave the breaths in and just treat it like, I would say like, not that you don't care, but almost that you don't care. So you're not trying.
And maybe not like you're trying
casual.
to project. You know, there's a difference between just talking like we're talking and trying to project when we talk on the screen. You know, you can kind of feel a difference between like pushing from, your belly out and then just kind of like just letting it.
A good trick when I've coached people is to tell me about your morning and then go right into the read, right? You've done that before. Or start at the bottom of the script and then say the last couple lines and then go to the top. It just kind of gets you into a flow of conversation so that it doesn't feel like you're starting abruptly with a script. So talking about your morning and then going into, I'm losing my voice. What is happening?
You're getting sick from me.
I don't know. Yeah, through the
internet.
Through
I coughed into the mic and it.
What were you going to say before we close?
I don't know. Oh, conversational, like how you go in. Yeah. You wouldn't just come up to someone and say, hey, did you try this new blah, 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 you would probably think about it and put yourself in the scene. Maybe you're out with a friend, you're getting ice cream, and you just paid for your ice cream, and you're walking along the sidewalk, and you're like, oh, hey, did I ever tell you about the thing
that's why talking about your morning, you kind of get you out of your head of like, oh, I'm going to be recording a voiceover. You're just like, you're literally having to think about what did I eat this morning? What did I do this morning? And it kind of takes you out of like,
it's like a distraction.
Go right into, it's a distraction from your own devices, which force you to go and try to put on a voice. They don't want that. So don't put on a voice. Yeah.
Be the voice.
My phone is blowing up. I think I'm on a family chat.
Yes. Your phone is
siblings
going. Yeah. You better get to that.
Anyway, thank you for watching. We appreciate you.
We do. See you next time.